want to get out of here.
Where do you want to go? We've only just arrived. Greetings, Henry.
Are you happy here?
It's not worth a damn. If I had any choice, you wouldn't see my heels for dust.
Well, what's happened? Did you two get yourselves into trouble?
A fine friend you are, assuming it's our own bloody fault.
Oh, come on. You know what you two are like. I had to ask.
Well, perhaps with that monk. But now, the foreman's got it in for us. If he could, he'd skin us alive.
Always forcing you to work, is he?
If only. That wouldn't be so awful. But nothing we do is good enough for him. There's always some reason for him to yell at us.
I can imagine.
You know what it's like. We do too little, and it takes us too long, and what we eat's worth more than the work we've done, and it's no fun listening to that sort of shit day after day.
And the miller won't stick up for you. I would have thought all the yelling would drive him mad.
Not really. He trusts that loudmouth bastard more than us. He's got us down for a pair of parasites.
I see.
What's so stupid is the mill really needs us. They haven't had any hands here for quite a while, and the mill needs a lot of fixing. But with them around, we can't even get to work.
And you definitely don't... You don't ever provoke him?
I've already told you once, he's an arsehole. I'd say there's nothing we can do about it. If he wants to yell at us, he'll yell at us.
Have you tried talking with him?
What do you think? But that just sets him off. He starts saying we're practically bandits, and what he's going to do about it. That gets Fritz going, and he starts yelling too, and...
I'd never have guessed he's like that.
Well, get a job here as a hand, and you'll soon see.
And what does he do during the day? Does he work with you?
Good one. He keeps his eye on everything, but his hand only touches the saw when the miller shows up, which isn't that surprising.
Why?
The last time he did anything, he almost took his thumb off with a chisel. I wouldn't put an axe in those paws of his either.
So, he's clumsy and arrogant. That's what you said about your last master, that Nimoy.
Aye, but at least you could sneak away from old Nimoy for a bit. No chance of that around here.
And what do you want to do about it? Just run away?
Actually, I'd like to stay here, at least for a bit. I never would have thought I'd like working in a mill. But not with him around. It's unbearable, and there's no one I can complain to. But you could.
Me? Do you think they'll listen to me?
They did once already, didn't they? They hired us because of you. You could have another word with them.
Back then, making promises was enough. Now, it will be worse.
You can forget about the miller. It's Thomas you need to convince. The miller takes his opinion seriously. So, will you do it for us? Again?
Fine. I'll try and talk to him.
I'm glad. But try not to get on his wrong side. You won't get anywhere with him then.
I'll keep that in mind.
Take care.
Hey, twat-face.
Matthew told me your foreman's a fool, and you're not exactly filled with Christian love for him.
You better believe it. I'd like to pay him back for everything and drown him in the river.
Drown him? What's he done to you?
It was the first or the second day here. We had a disagreement and I told him off. And then, all of a sudden, we're fighting and that fucker just throws me in the river. I nearly drowned.
Well, how did you get out? I thought you couldn't swim.
I can't. They pulled me out. I was up to my waist in water.
I see. Well, I'd be pretty fucking angry too. So you want to pay him back?
Exactly. I don't give a shit about anything around here, but that bastard's in need of a good trouncing.
I spoke with him briefly and he doesn't seem so horrible.
Then you ought to try working with him. He's a sneaky bastard and arrogant. You should see how he puffs himself up when he's off to play dice with Lawrence.
Who's Lawrence? Another mill hand?
Aye, but at the neighbouring mill. They call him the Wren. Damned if I know why. Thomas goes there to play dice with him.
What about the others at the mill? Are they awful as well?
The miller's an old fool. He believes every word that comes out of Thomas's mouth. It's hopeless. And then there's the miller's daughter. She's a pretty lass, and kind with it. And what can she do? Nothing. Not that it stops Matthew gonna see her. But Thomas is the root of the problem.
Do you think he's jealous? Is she a sweetheart?
He might make puppy dog eyes at her, but most of the time he just struts about like a peacock. I really don't think she's the problem.
And what do you want to do about it? Do you think you can come to an agreement?
No fucking chance. Matthew hopes so because he likes it here. It's true the work's better than the mines, but the pay's worse.
So how do you plan on dealing with it? Leaving?
Perhaps. But first, I want to give Thomas a proper trouncing. I mean a real thrashing.
And you think that will help?
Maybe. Maybe it'll knock some sense into that fat head of his. Or he'll be too frightened to mess with me.
That might help.
So why don't you arrange a fight with him? If we win, he'll leave us alone. Oh, we could...
What?
We could lure him off someplace far away and then wait for him. Maybe to play dice with Lawrence. He would have to go through the dark woods.
I'll think about it.
God be with you.
You incapable cretins.
I'm honored that you should come to me.
Are you happy with your new workers?
They're good carpenters, but someone constantly has to stand behind their backs and keep an eye on them.
Really?
Yes. When I'm there with them, everything goes smoothly. But the moment I leave, I hear Thomas yelling at them.
I've heard.
I don't know what I'd do without Thomas. He keeps an eye on everything for me now. The mill wouldn't function without him.
Yeah, but Thomas has problems with carpentry.
You're right. You should hear him cursing when he has to turn his hand to it. He knows he'll never be a real miller.
But just because of that?
No. He's not too skilled at handling the water wheel and the mill run either. He can wield a shovel well enough, but otherwise I have to keep telling him how to do things.
So he's not been foreman too long then?
No. My son used to run the mill, but then his wagoner returned with him inside it. It'll be a year ago now, come spring.
I'm sorry.
Me too, boy. And after Martin was gone, the other workers left and only Thomas stayed. I don't know what I'd do without him.
What happened that day? Wagons don't overturn themselves.
He was transporting new stone blocks for the mill and he had to take a detour. Since the wagon was too heavy for the ford, it was after a downpour. The load must have slipped and the whole wagon fell on him. I pray it was quick.
So he was alone, with no one to help him.
Of course not. Thomas was there too. He helped Martin to load the wagon in Sassa and both of them set off back.
Just the two of them? No one else was there?
No, they always did it that way. Martin didn't like dragging people where it wasn't necessary, when they could be doing work elsewhere. But if I had been there with them, maybe he'd still be alive. Thomas couldn't pull the wagon off him. He ran for help, but it was already too late.
I'm sorry. But I'm sure he's in God's kingdom now.
He was a good boy, a kind soul.
Have you been without carpenters for a while?
A long time. Since winter, it's been just me and Thomas.
Nobody stays around.
No. These days, it's hard to find a man you can rely on. Young lads today are bone idle. None of them wants to do an honest day's work.
And how many have actually worked here?
About half a dozen, maybe more. We always put up with them till the most urgent work was done, then sent them packing.
And what about Jane? Shouldn't she have a husband by now?
What are you trying to say?
A pretty girl like her is ripe for marriage.
With a large dowry because she comes from a mill? Well, she had herself a man once, but he ran away during the winter. He wasn't up to the work either.
And how long did he last?
You know, he was here for a while. But back then my son was a foreman and he was a kindly soul. Too kind. He never threw anyone out.
So, everyone started leaving when Thomas took over.
Well, Thomas is a dog on slackers. And just as well. Maybe it's harsh, but that's what you need nowadays. If we don't mill, folk don't eat.
That's all I need, Miller.
Good luck to you.
Hey, Henry!
I went and spoke with the miller, and he said...
Don't tell me. It was a total waste of time, wasn't it?
That's about right. He said your good work is when he's with you, but when he isn't...
Yeah, that Thomas is a wily bastard. All he has to do is complain a few times, and the miller will always take his side.
Well, it seems there's nothing we can do to change his mind.
Not a damn thing. Whatever the miller thinks, Thomas is really the one in charge here. Good luck, then.
About the mill.
Again, look lad, I stand by Thomas. If it wasn't for him, nothing would get done here.
So, the moment Thomas became mill foreman, everyone started running off. Not one man could stand it here, even if they had a chance to marry Jane. Don't you think Thomas might be doing it on purpose? Sounds to me like he's after the mill, or your daughter, or both.
That's not like him. He's a good man and straightforward. He knows I can always send for a new mill foreman.
And Jane,
Don't worry about her. She'll wed whoever I approve of, even Thomas if he asks for her hand. At least with him, I know he won't leave the mill.
indeed, why would he once he's got rid of everyone else?
That's enough. I don't know why you're trying to slander Thomas, but I don't mean to listen to it any longer. See you later.
I heard what you asked my father. You can't expect help from him. He's none too sharp these days.
And can you help me then?
No. Nobody listens to me. But I wanted to say that Thomas does do it on purpose. He did it the same way before.
Why?
Because he's afraid if someone comes who's more skilled, Father will notice and give his job to the newcomer.
And your father lets him? Can't he settle this?
He probably could, but he doesn't want to. My brother was the mill foreman before him, but last year a wagon overturned on him, broke his back. It broke my father too. And Thomas was here the longest. He was always close to my brother, so Father chose him as the mill foreman.
And Thomas doesn't listen to anyone. Can't you persuade him?
No. He keeps looking my way and tries to be nice, but he doesn't care what I've got to say. When I tell him something, it goes in one ear and out the other.
And this probably won't end well. Well, what happened to your brother?
And what does that have to do with this?
I don't know. You mentioned it, so I was just wondering.
There's not much to tell. The stone block that was loaded wrong, slippery ground after rain, and when the wagon overturned on him, there was no one around to help.
What do you mean, no one? Surely he wasn't alone.
No, he had Thomas with him. But Thomas couldn't lift the wagon off him, and by the time he found help, it was too late. And as if that wasn't bad enough, someone robbed my brother while Thomas was looking for help.
Someone robbed him after he was dead.
I don't know. But they took a mottled scarf which I gave him as a keepsake. He laughed when I gave it to him. He said it would make him look like a fop, but he still wore it all the time. And someone must have thought it was worth stealing.
But who'd steal a scarf?
Why are you asking me? When they brought him back here, he didn't have it. That's all I know.
I'm sorry about what happened to him.
Me too. But it was his own fault. If he'd brought more people with him, he'd still be alive. He was too kind for his own good.
I understand.
Greetings, Henry.
I spoke with the miller's daughter.
It's a shame her father won't listen to her. She knows all about Thomas, but
Her father doesn't believe her.
he reckons it's just a woman's fancy. He probably thinks she's smitten with one of us. Not that I'd object, but she's a clever one. She'd make a better miller than either of those two. Take care.
Good day to you.
I heard you were with the miller's son when the wagon fell on him.
What of it?
I just heard some talk and I wanted to get the story straight from you.
Talk? From who?
I heard some gossip about him at the alehouse. What happened? Was it really lightning that scared the horses?
What? No, there wasn't any storm. It was just the road was muddy, and so we rode closer to the edge of it.
It's a real stroke of bad luck, isn't it?
Tell me about it. If I'd been behind the wagon, it would have fallen on me too.
Why did only two of you go?
He always did it that way. But 2 people are enough for the trip, and if we needed an extra pair of hands, we could always find some local.
Except at the end. If there had been more of you, he might have survived.
Do you think I don't know that? I couldn't move the wagon on my own, so I went looking for help. We'd met a few travelers along the way, and I ran to find them, but it was too late. The weight of it crushed him while I was gone.
I'm sorry.
Me too. Me too. I didn't want to be the mill foreman, but the last thing he ever said to me, the very last thing he ever asked of me, was to take care of the mill.
And I heard someone robbed him.
Robbed? What kind of nonsense is that?
I heard he was missing something when they brought him back.
What? I don't remember anything.
He had a scarf with him.
Really? I don't know. Maybe he lost it on the way. Or it sank into the mud. Yes, that's probably it. It's still buried there somewhere.
Well, I hope he's resting in peace.
Amen.
So what do you think about the workers I brought you?
If I hadn't put in a good word for them, the miller would have thrown them out by now.
I heard them say something else.
So they're complaining, are they? I provide for them, and all they do is slack off.
Isn't it the miller who provides for them?
He can't manage the work anymore. If it weren't for me, there'd be nothing left standing around here.
But you need the help anyway. And they're pretty handy.
Maybe, but they're in no danger of overworking themselves. They act like they're too good for the mill, and I saw them eyeing up Jane.
Nothing strange about that. She's a pretty girl, and she's of an age to marry.
It's not marriage they've got on their minds. They'd have their way with her, then before her belly started to grow, they'd have run for the hills.
Look, we can reach an agreement. You need the mill fixed, they need the money. If they have peace to do their work, they'll be able to finish it faster.
But
And then they'll take their groschen and leave. The mines will open again, and the faster they get their money, the quicker they'll be gone.
But do you really think I can trust them to do it? Will they do their work and leave? And leave Jane alone in the meantime?
Now I think about it, probably not. You've been a pest for a long time now, and they'll want to pay you back for it.
Then why the hell did you start talking about it? You were just wasting my time.
It's not like you do anything anyway. Apart from sitting around yelling at the men actually doing the work.
Listen, I was being pretty reasonable, but now you're on thin ice. If you want to fight, just say so.
But we need to pick a place for the fight that isn't too public.
That's one thing we can agree about.
You have any idea where we could do it?
There's a place to the north of Ledečko we can go to after sunset. We won't be seen there, and most of the time it's empty.
Good. Above Ledečko then, at dusk.
Fine. And who will I be giving a pasting to?
Take your pick. There'll be 3 of us, and you can bring 2 of your friends as well, so there'll be more than enough to go around.
Why not? We have a deal then. No trying to get out of it later on.
Agreed.
God be with you. Useless parasite. Vagabond. Slackers.
Oh,
Glad to fucking see you, Henry.
I did it. I arranged to fight him just like you wanted. He had nothing against the idea. He'll bring 2 men, and the 3 of them will wait for us on the hill near Ledečko.
I wasn't expecting that. I thought he was too much of a coward.
So, how are we going to do it? Should we just meet there?
No. Come and see me towards evening, and then we'll go. Oh, and perhaps you should let Matthew know. Since you were the one who set it up. Take care.
Greetings, Henry.
Well, I spoke with him.
How did it go? Did you come to an agreement?
No. There's no talking to him.
What will we do now? I suppose we could just leave, but I don't want to as long as there's some coin to be earned here.
Don't go running off just yet. Fritz and I have come up with a plan.
Shit. You want to trounce him, don't you?
We've arranged a fight to decide things. If we win, he'll leave you alone. If we lose, you'll be on your way.
Sakra! Well, I suppose we've got no other choice. There's no talking to that man. But I find it hard to believe he'll just leave us alone, even if we do win.
It will be us 3 against them 3. That's an honourable fight, and the better men will win.
If you say so. Goodbye.
Why is it
Look what I've
taking
got
so
for
long?
you. You'll love this.
Hey, twat face.
All right, I'm here. Let's do it.
It's still too early.
God be with you.
So long.
God be with you, Henry. Glad to fuck.
All right, I'm here. Let's do it.
It's still too early.
See you later.
Hey, twat face.
All right, I'm here. Let's do it.
So let's go.
God be with you.
Good day, Henry. Welcome.
Nice to see such a good turnout. The more the merrier.
Arsehole. You won't think it's so funny in a minute.
I think you're fucking hilarious.
Enough horseshit. I didn't come here for a chat.
Just as well. You're not much of a conversationalist.
Are we gonna get on with this anytime soon?
Let's do it, Dopici! Missed!
Yeah.
One more? That's that then.
Do you think it will be enough?
He definitely looked.
Will make life hell on earth for us.
So, anything else you need from me?
No. Thank you for your help.
Yeah, no problem. What are friends for?
You forgot something.
Of course. You're right. Here's something on the side, Henry.
Ah, there's no need for that. I did it out of friendship. You can spend the coin on drinks at the tavern.
Thanks. You're a real friend.
We really are in your debt now.
Hey, Henry's come to see us.
I'm at your service, Sir Knight.
Ah, enough. I found this at your place. Now, will you admit you killed him?
Killed who? What the hell are you talking about?
This! And there's only one way you could have got hold of it. Did you take it while Martin was still breathing, or did you wait until it was all over?
That's ridiculous. I didn't kill him. Why would I do that?
So you'd be the one giving orders instead of taking them. You want the mill for yourself.
I never wanted this. It's not the life for me. But he told me to take care of the mill and his sister, and I promised I would.
Ah, a nice story. And that scarf was supposed to seal the deal you two made, right? At least that's probably what you told yourself.
No. I took it to remind me of my promise. But that doesn't matter. What are you trying to prove?
Well, I could take the scarf and go and tell Jane you had it this whole time. Then I could hint you might have done it on purpose, and pretty soon we'd see how everyone starts looking at you.
Why would you do that, you bastard? Unless you want something.
I want you to get out of here and never come back. The mill will be better off without you.
You've lost your wits, haven't you? You think a piece of cloth and a few lies from some stranger is going to convince anyone here?
Like I said, Jane isn't too fond of you already. Imagine how she'll hate you after this.
That's not true.
That's what you think. But who knows what she'll do? Never talk to you again? Put something in your porridge? Or maybe she'll be so distraught she'll jump into the river. And what will happen to the miller then? You'll have lost everything that matters to you.
Very well. You win. Have it your way. I'll leave and never come back. I don't want to hurt anyone, but you'll end up in hell for this. Take care now.
Yeah.
I'll have to get something to eat. I'm starting to get hungry.
Henry, I'm glad you came.
Hey, who's there? Hey, how'd you get so fucked up?
Take care.
What was that?
How are you?
See you later.
What are you looking for here?
Good day to you.
I'm interested in your...
And what is it?
a bit of everything. Heal my wounds, have a proper bath. Oh, and my garments are in need of laundering.
But of course. Money first, though.
Fine.
Take care.
Good day, Henry.
Glad to fucking see you, Henry.
See you later.